Welcome back, and for this segment, we're going to call this the do's and don'ts of dating. And Lisa DiPasquale, I overheard a conversation before the show started, and I really respected some of the things she was saying, and I think she could bring a lot to the table on the do's and don'ts of dating. Lisa, first a little background. You've been dating for a long time, and you've had a lot of experience, and by the way, you have done a magnificent job with your son Dane. He is an amazing kid, and what I've noticed is that you two have an exceptional relationship, a bond that I love to see. That he's a great kid, you're a great mother, and it's really amazing. It's a bond, so you're doing a great job as a mother. But let's talk about dating a little bit. Talk about, in your experience, let's start with the don'ts first. What are some of the things people should not do and turn off their partners in dating?
First thing is always dress appropriately. So if you're going to a sports bar, don't show up with a club dress. Same thing with guys, dress appropriately. Always meet in a public place. Don't have someone come to your house. You don't know them. In today's world, you don't know who's coming to your house. You don't want them having your address. So always meet in a public place. Always talk about things that are kind of thought-provoking, open-ended questions, and don't talk about exes.
Okay. Now, let's get to the positives, the do's.
Okay.
Some of the things that will get you started in the right direction where I'm not saying that you meet someone on the first date, it's going to be a long-time relationship, but it will be a building block to at least, a second date, a third date. So what are some of the do's to get it started in the right direction?
I would always plan a date that it's an activity, because then you can see the person in action. If you're watching a movie, you really don't get to talk. All you're doing is looking straight ahead. So I would do stuff like rock climbing, a cooking class, some kind of how-to-do class. Then you get to see your reaction, they get to see each other's reaction. Another good thing to do is ask questions that really get into their understanding of their life, where they see each themselves in 5 years. Are they goal-oriented? What kind of books do they read? Never get too political, never get too religious.
Excellent. Now, there's for people dating out there, there's different ways to go about it. In your experience, first of all, talk about the dating clubs, the organizations, do you believe in those?
I did it for a year when I moved from Florida to Long Beach. I was on Match, I was on eHarmony, and it's a tough crowd. It's tough online dating. It's not easy. And some people really luck out. I have 2 girlfriends that met someone through there that they have a long-term relationship. I didn't luck out. And each date that I went on, I learned, okay, this is so not what to do. So I would give it a try, because it is very hard to meet people nowadays. But I'd also ask people, hey, do you know anybody? Or can someone fix you up through somebody? Or an activity. I would join an activity that have men and women doing the activity to meet someone.
Now, how about blind dates? Because, my philosophy has always been, what do you got to lose? But what's your philosophy on going on a blind date with someone you've never met before?
I'm always pro blind date. A lot of my patients that I treat for speech pathology met on blind dates, and they've been married, 60 years. So it can't hurt. When you're going on the date, when you talk to the person after an hour, if this is going to lead to a second date or not. So I would always give my best foot forward for a blind date.
I once read a story, and I'd just love to get your reaction. Once read the story in the New York Post where this guy, just couldn't find dates. He went to bars, he just couldn't find dates. All of a sudden, one day he was at Home Depot in the section with the appliances, and basically there's a lot of women who wanted, and he was he knew his stuff, and he started, giving women advice on this and that. Well, you need this, you need that, and it led to a date. And then he went back and he said, led to more dates. And he said it turned out to be so great for him because, one of his big things is that a lot of women were not going to Home Depot thinking they were going to get picked up for a date. That was the last thing, but they met this guy. He knew what he was talking about. He was knowledgeable. They liked his personality, and it led to a lot of dates. So how about meeting people in casual atmospheres like that, where your kind of guard is down and you're not really expecting to meet someone?
I think Home Depot is a great place, especially for women, because it's man-dominated most of the time. You're not going to meet someone in the grocery store. That old cliche, you're not. But Home Depot, I think, yes. And maybe Ace Hardware. Yeah, I think so. I like that idea.
All right.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Lisa, you've brought a lot of great things to the table, but to summarize, what do you think, what are you looking for, what should people look for in the ultimate really good date? What are some of the qualities you look for in a really good date?
Eye contact is very important. See if the other person asks you any questions. If they spend the whole hour talking about themselves, that usually is going to be a determination of the future. It's all about them. See what how they respond to animals. See how they respond to questions. You can get a little personal, see how they respond to that too. You know right into the date if there's going to be a connection. And I always believe in honesty. If there is no romantic connection, I'm right up front. Thank you so much, but there's no connection here. I don't think it should drag on.
Excellent. I think Lisa DiPasquale did a fabulous job on the do's and don'ts of dating!
Thank you, Howie.
That was a great segment. Fantastic.